Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Good Football Show. I am Patrick Daugherty, here for the final time with Denny Carter on Super Bowl 56 Radio Row. We have another amazing show for you today. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is with us off the jump. Before we welcome in the Ringers, Danny Kelly, for some draft and Super Bowl talk. And then we sit down with Mr. CeeDee Lamb. Clyde, you are 22 years old. You were a national champion at LSU. You reached the Super Bowl as a rookie. You take the rock from the best football player on the planet in Patrick Mahomes. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. How about y'all?
Good. We are good. Yeah, we're a little exhausted. We're a little.
I can only imagine.
You know, being a podcaster is almost physically as exerting as being a football player.
So I can only imagine.
The physical toll is pretty much.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
People don't realize how much talking takes a toll on you, bro.
That's true. Our voices are shot. Listen to them.
They actually are shot.
Clyde, I wanted to ask you. Among Kansas City running backs with 100 carries this season, you had the best yards per carry at 4.3. You were 8th among all NFL running backs in yards before contact, and you had the highest catch rate of any KC running back. I want to ask you, how do you assess your 2021 performance, and how can the team help you be even more productive in 2022?
Man, I would say in 2021, for me, battling a lot of injuries, right, man, and I can look at stats and do whatever, but I'm not a big. I look at the film, and how I feel about the film is how I grade myself. And for me, it's just not enough film.
Okay.
Just having a knee injury early on against the first game against the Bills, and then having to get put on short-term IR at that time. Then afterwards, it felt like I was rolling. Had the 200-yard games back to back. Yeah. I'm like, okay, man, I'm back into it. And then, had this weird shoulder collarbone ordeal, man, and that set me back. So for me, man, it's playing, and I really just being on the field with my brothers, bro. We go out there and we Monday through Sunday,
right,
literally getting to the building at 5, and then you're leaving at 5, and it's like all you want to do is do that one thing on that one day, and that's play that game for an hour. So that's literally all I want to do is get on the field and perform.
How are you feeling physically after this injury?
Right now, probably not 100%, but as close as I could be at this time. Still doing everything that I needed to for recovery and rehab, but. It's all a process.
Yeah, I mean, I know you missed a few games as a rookie, but like you said, you missed 6 or 7. Have you ever dealt with that? Anything like that until this year? Had you ever dealt with having? Because that's like, I can't even imagine. You're probably just dying to get out there.
It's when you don't deal with something like that early, I guess younger, and then really know that this is what you have going on, and then you get to this point in your life where this is your job and you feel like it's everything. Yeah. And literally, man, this is what I do, is what I love. Sure. Like putting those pads on, and so it was frustrating.
I'm sure it is.
It's very frustrating, but just it's the game of football, bro. It comes with it, and the joy of it is you can go back out there and play, and then have that opportunity to go back out there and show it. So that's the best feeling.
Clyde, teams adjusted against the Chiefs offense in 2021 for kind of like that middle part of the season, playing 2 deep safeties a lot, kind of taking away some of those patented deep shots that have been such a big part of your guys' offensive success in recent years. But you got back on track down the stretch, but how can the backfield play into an offensive strategy that helps kind of neutralize those too high looks, those real deep looks? Because you guys got back on track, but how can the backfield factor into further thwarting that in 2022?
Oh, man, we know it's literally football. You said it, bro. You throw too high, you run the ball.
Yeah.
Been knowing that concept since I was 5.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you see 2 high safeties, just run the ball.
Yeah, Madden, even I know, audible right now.
Even John Madden is saying it. When you in the way you.
Yeah, I asked Madden, it was like, just run a draw or something.
Like, hey, man, it's cover 2. You might want to run the ball. So. That's those things that we need to do, and we knew it, and we wanted to implement it.
I figured
game plans
you and Andy Reid to do that.
Game plans and everything, and really, for me, it's just being comfortable and getting that trust factor, and that's honestly literally how life goes. Being able to be trusted in any situation. And running the ball, knowing where we know if they're going too high, then we probably could give him this ball 25 times and we all good. We can roll it, and if they want to start playing us like this, we can play them. But we've sat down and we know we can run the ball. And people know that we can run the ball, so it's those times that we know too high, we just need to do it.
Do you think that we could see more running from the Chiefs in 2022?
Most definitely.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Okay.
What about more CEH pass catching too? Not you've been catching passes.
And we had everybody sparked with that in the off season. So I feel like we put too much out on the forefront. And we knew people were going to possibly start preparing for it. So it's just one of those things. This offseason, we're going to try to keep everything a little low. So,
well, that's not good for us because we want to have stuff to write about.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. But we'll give y'all stuff to write about during the season.
You give us a lot. The Chiefs give us a lot.
Please do, yeah. Clyde, you're a running back, and it's the Super Bowl, so we have to ask you a running back-related Super Bowl question.
Let's do it.
There's a lot of backfield star power for Sunday's game. Which back are you most looking forward to watching this Sunday?
Honestly, man, long relationship with Cam Akers.
Oh, okay.
From even the recruitment in high school, he was possibly one of those guys that come to LSU. So paths crossed, and staying in communication. We were texting the other day about what I was feeding my dog. So it's always just having those friends, man, and he's just one of those guys that from high school to being at the combine, like he was one of those guys I kind of stayed with and always connected with. So running back wise, man, Cam all day, and from his recovery, man.
I was gonna say you talked
watching him do that, bro. My dad tore his Achilles before and saw his recovery, and then to think about
5 months, how did he do that?
I was like,
it blew us away.
Bro.
I was told it was like
amazed.
12-month injury.
Yeah,
and he was less than 6.
As soon as it happened, I'm like, you don't even know what to text a guy, especially same position and everything. Like you know what he's going through, but for him to, honestly, it probably was the next day for him to mentally just kind of hit that switch and go, I'm gonna be back on the field this year.
Sure.
That's something special, bro. So honestly, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see 2-3.
Does Cam look all the way back to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was what that was the I want to say semi-playoff game.
Oh, the wild card.
Yeah. Man, watching him come that's my thing. That's what I watch. Watching him come out of cuts and watching him put his head, like, it wasn't like he was timid on the runs that he was getting. He looked like Cam. It's just like he had his
powerful.
time.
Like just so much power.
So much power, bro, and it's so instant. So man, that's who I'm looking forward to. I mean, Joe's my guy too. But as far as being, a friend and being somebody who I've kind of came along with and we've kind of been alongside each other for this journey, running back wise, I want to see Cam do his thing.
What were you feeding your dog, by the way?
Man, so I was feeding him Pro Plan Sport.
That's good stuff, actually.
Yeah, man,
My dad
nice,
feeds,
it's some nice dog food. So that's, I'm not gonna throw out some Old Roy or anything. Nothing bad.
Hey, we had a bad experience with Old Roy, but we actually had a bad experience.
I'm just a Pro Plan guy.
Pro Plan's the way to go. Which matchup, just beyond the backfield, are you most excited for Sunday? Like, we've been asking people, Jalen Ramsey hasn't been shadowing people this year, but are we going to see Jalen Ramsey maybe shadow Jamar Chase?
Man, that's once you get out there, that's a different ballpark. That's not my area of expertise, but once you get out there, knowing it's a different ballpark, it goes to show you that it's not the things that people see on TV and the speed and the
fast.
The physicality and everything that you see, man, it's probably moving a little quicker than what they actually thinking and seeing. So beyond it, man. I mean, obviously the world and the NFL is looking forward to it, but I mean, having one of my guys out there on the offensive side of the ball, and then all-world talent like JR, man, it's going to be something to see.
It's going to be something to see. Clyde, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything you want to shout out, anything you're promoting here?
Yeah, man. So I want to shout out Sleep Number. That's really one of the main reasons why I'm here, and also I want to be able to kind of this is my thing for my little sister. She has muscular dystrophy, and Sleep Number has been my backbone with getting her foundation started. Her foundation is making muscles for Maddie, and it's been something that's close to my heart. And honestly, it's her, but it was those times that I get to go see those kids at those camps, man, and watch just the little things, the joy of just shaking someone's hand and just getting a smile from someone is something that's special to me. So if it's for the kids, I'm all for it. And then it's even more important to me with the muscular dystrophy aspect of it. So Sleep Number's been my backbone with this, and I really appreciate them for it.
Well, that's awesome stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Yes,
Clyde. Best of luck to the Chiefs in 2020. Best of luck to you catching passes, stacking up some of those PPR fantasy points. And thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It is now our distinct pleasure to welcome in the Ringer's Daniel Kelly. You may know him as Danny. He is a podcaster. He is a writer. He's a master of the football universe. Danny, I don't know if the folks listening at home have really realized this yet, but we all now live here on Radio Row.
Yeah.
Our families are moving out to Los Angeles. How are you enjoying your new life?
Oh man, it's great. First of all, very cold in here.
Yes.
So I'm used to the climate. I'm up from north, so that's good because I heard it was hot in LA, but it's not hot in here.
No.
So that's great.
It's 56 degrees in here.
So, yeah, not to take people too behind the curtain, but this is the coldest building I've ever been in.
Yeah,
I've been in it all day, every day for 6 days.
It's jarringly cold. Like you walk in and you think you can tolerate it, but then about 3 minutes later you're shivering. Shivering.
like-
Pat and I were holding each other trying to stay warm.
Look up the Wikipedia for Ernest Shackleton and start reading about those temperatures on those voyages, those expeditions in the early 20s. You get an idea of just how cold it is in here. And why I'm just broken. I'm broken.
I mean, well, I'm just glad we got the obligatory Ernest Shackleton.
Yeah, of
reference.
course.
Right, I was waiting for that.
If you don't know Ernest Shackleton, really look up the Wikipedia.
Oh, I will.
You're going to be in it for several days.
I will.
But Danny, right off the top, you're one of our favorite draft analysts. You're going to be doing excellent work all spring. Denny wants to start by asking you about Pitt's Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Is he going to be the real deal at the NFL level?
This feels like a loaded question. I'm not sure how to react to this. I do like him, actually. I think he's pretty good. The hand size question is going to be the big thing. And
I didn't know he was a hand sizer. Oh, my gosh.
Well, he has a thumb
it's
situation.
because of the double jointedness.
that's right.
Is the problem. We don't really know how big his hands are. Apparently, they're really small. At the Senior Bowl, that was an issue in the rain, but a lot of people had problems in the rain, the quarterbacks at that spot. So, I don't know. When I put on his tape, I think he's really impressive. He moves around in the pocket really well. I compared him to Tony Romo because he really reminded me the way he escapes pressure, and he can feel pressure and spin away from it, escape it. He's good outside the pocket. There were some cross body throws that he made that were really impressive.
We did some of those the other day.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah.
We're pretty
glad you're okay, by the way.
Yes, people have been reaching out. Yeah.
I was really worried.
They see a 35-year-old man do something that wrench his back. They just assume I herniated 2 discs, but I survived.
But yeah, I am impressed. I think obviously there's a lot of question marks because he sort of came out of nowhere this past year. He's a super senior. He's going to be a little bit older as a rookie.
Sounds like a lot of red flags.
I mean, but all the quarterbacks in this class really have a lot of red flags, and you kind of just have to sift through those and decide how good these guys can be at the next level. I think obviously landing spot is going to be huge with all these guys. And the fact that this isn't an elite class necessarily is probably good for a lot of these guys because they were going to, the further you go in the first round, because I assume a few guys will be in the first round, they might land in a better spot, more support, better defense, run game, all that stuff that's going to help him early on. So he is my top-ranked quarterback, but, there are red flags, definitely.
Right. Do you see any scenario where he ends up being, not being the first quarterback off the board?
Yeah, I think Malik Willis from Liberty, he's going to be a big riser, I think, going forward. He already is. Had a really good Senior Bowl. I think the physical traits are really what people are going to get excited about. He's going to run really fast. I saw an athletic article that said he might run in the 4.3s, which, that's going to send him shooting up. He's 220
those
pounds.
Are Pat Daugherty numbers.
Almost.
Just a
but yeah, just physically gifted, really strong arm.
Yeah.
There are concerns. It's sort of like a version of Josh Allen. He's not as tall and big as Josh Allen, but the physical traits are there where teams are going to say, we can build something with this guy. We can develop him. We can get him to be a little more accurate. We can help his decision making because there were plays there where, he just throws right into the teeth of the defense. And so that is something that you have to account for. But, I mean, this guy, he really reminds me of Jalen Hurts just in his ability to make plays out of the pocket. You can use him in the run game as a centerpiece of the run game. I mean, he's more athletic than Jalen Hurts. He's going to be probably the second best rusher at quarterback behind Lamar Jackson. So, again, landing spots can be big. And if they have an offense that you can like build around his traits and sort of develop him and bring him along, sort of like the Bills did with Josh Allen, I think that he has a high upside. So he's probably the guy who ends up being drafted first. If it's not Pickett, it's going to be Willis, in my opinion.
You made a really interesting point, I feel like, about this supposedly down draft class. And, like, because we know no matter what, even in a down class, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 first-round quarterbacks at least. But it could be a year, where they might actually fall to, like, good organization. You know, someone like the Steelers or someone like the Titans could decide to have a bridge quarterback. I mean, the Saints need a quarterback. The Bucks.
Yeah.
Like, it could be an interesting year for, like, supposedly flawed prospects who just – all they need is, like, to land in a good organization. It could be a year where you actually, like, land in a good organization, like a team that just made the playoffs.
I mean, look at, like, Trevor Lawrence, can't miss prospect, one of the most hyped prospects in a generation, and he goes to the Jaguars, who are not a good organization, apparently.
I confirm. I can confirm that.
Seemed
yeah. Reportedly.
Report, colon.
And, but he was just, like, terrible. And I'm still very bullish on him, like, in his career. I think he's going to be really good. Like, but then you look at other guys that have fallen in the draft, land in good situations, and the sports system is so important. The coaching, he's not trying to fight like the Urban Meyer effect.
No. Well, I say not to go like full football dad and like explain away his like struggles with off the field stuff. But by the end of the year, I mean, Trevor Lawrence was in like just a truly insane position for a rookie.
Yeah.
Where he was constantly having to go to the media and like, but he was like, like when a coach gets asked about like, why is this player doing all this crazy stuff off the field? Have your rookie quarterback
have to answer questions about the coaches
off the
demeanor.
Field. It was like one of the most awkward things I've ever seen in my life.
Who's ever been in that spot?
Literally no one.
But we'll get back to Willis in just a second. I want to ask you something. But Trevor Lawrence did show, I think, did really show something against the Colts in that. Was it week 18?
Yeah, it was that like effective play-in game for the Colts.
He was fueled by spite. He just needed something to play for. Spite.
He was tremendous. It made a lot of really great throws. So I think we can pump the brakes a little bit on the.
Yeah, I mean, you see the traits. You see the traits. Like I think there was a play where he broke the pocket, went out to his right, and then threw back across his body for the guy in the end zone.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're like, that's what I wanted to see. I needed that for the offseason. Right. That's helpful.
Yeah, just to cling to that.
I mean, Jags fans can. Should. Look at that. Willis is the most intriguing quarterback as far as fantasy goes in this draft because I think he brings that rushing upside. Does Pickett bring any sort of rushing upside? I know he's famous mostly for the fake slide.
Right.
Are we going to get a bunch of fake slides in the NFL from Kenny Pickett?
I don't think is it legal in the NFL?
They only outlawed it in the NCAA. They haven't it's a gray area in the NFL.
Okay. Maybe that's like his edge.
Gray area in the NFL rulebook has never gone poorly.
Nope.
So,
it's never going to show up in like a chemo.
No, it's not going to mar entire seasons.
Dominate the narrative.
Yeah.
He is, I think, again, like I said, he has a really good ability to kind of like evade rushers in the pocket, get outside. I wouldn't say they're going to design a run game around him. He did score, I want to say, 20 rushing touchdowns in his career. Of course, his career is 5 years, so you got to average that out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's athletic. He's he's got that like gamer mentality. It's total cliche. I get that, but it's got the moxie that you're looking for.
We're all in our 30s.
He's got great hair.
Yeah, we've all realized in our 30s, like, these cliches. This is a reason why
the gamers have something going for them.
Yeah, why they've just been talking about gamers
not
for 60
gamers.
years.
Okay.
Well, not those gamers.
The Romo comp I think makes a lot of sense because Romo was similar in what you're talking about here. Also, didn't Romo have small hands?
He did.
Oh, did he?
I think
that's why. Come on, that's why he
small hands.
Bobbled the thing.
Oh yes, the bobbled snap.
Oh yeah, that didn't have any. You benefited from that greatly.
Yeah,
didn't you? They were playing
that was like a
Seahawks.
Formative play in my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but yeah, I don't know. But so Kenny Pickett might be Denny's favorite quarterback prospect. Who is your favorite quarterback prospect in this group? Do you have one so far? Maybe it's early.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be Willis. I think
it's kind of hard.
I'm going in with tempered expectations. I'm trying not to get too excited because obviously there is some rawness there. There is I think the downside is lower than maybe like a Pickett is. He's got like a pretty good floor. Like I think he's going to go in there. You can run an offense around him. He's not going to be like a superstar necessarily, but Pickett has that superstar traits, that skill set to be really, really good. And we live in the fantasy world. Like he's going to be a good
the only one that matters.
Quarterback. He's going to run a lot.
We don't care if he's good in real life.
You may only get a couple of years out of it. I think it's like I've said this on the pod, the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. Good plug there.
It's a good plug. It's a very good
show.
Yeah, it actually is a really good show.
Is it a good football show?
It's yeah. I have no retort. Yeah, you got us good there.
But like, I bet you in 3 years, we're still going to be having questions about whether Malik Willis is a starter in the NFL in the same way that we're having that with Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah.
But in the first couple of years, it's going to be still fun because he's going to be a good fantasy player, assuming he gets into a team that has a need at starter. Like, he may end up with a team that he has to sit for a year.
He could get bridged.
Yeah. So, but if he starts early on, I think that's like automatic fantasy production. He's going to be a fantasy favorite. There's going to be question marks about, his true ceiling as a passer, but yeah.
I desperately want Willis to get to a team where he can start day one.
Truly,
seriously.
Please. It's weird, by the way. Just a real quick, kind of pointless aside. Remember, like, it did become like gospel that rookie first-round quarterbacks just didn't sit ananymore. And now they just sit all the time. Like, what is this all about?
The glory days.
Yeah, I know. The glory days are gone. Back in my day, 2013, they just never sat, ever. Denny wanted to talk Pickett. You wanted to talk draft wide receivers.
Yeah.
Last year was an amazing class, perhaps the best of the decade. Just how is this year's group looking in comparison? What are some early observations in this year's draft class?
I think that
receiver draft class.
Yeah, this class isn't nearly as good. Well, maybe not nearly is not the right word. It's not as good as last year. You got Jamar Chase, who's one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Denny's never watched a game, but he's been told. People have been telling us
the
all
tape
week
guys.
that he's good.
That's what they've been saying.
The numbers say that he's good.
Yeah, even the numbers. That's great. The metrics are aligning on this one.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily going to be like that, but we're getting incredibly spoiled. Especially like in the fantasy world where there's just like a never-ending supply of really exciting receivers coming into the NFL. This year there are a lot of different styles of receivers, which is fun. Like Treylon Burks, big guy, yards after the catch, really explosive, a little more raw. You got Drake London, who's big, like a box out, live above the rim type guy. And then you got guys like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, who are a little more, they're smaller, not physically imposing, but they're really like good receivers. Garrett Wilson reminds me a little bit of Kadarius Toney and like his suddenness, just like the way he moves.
We love Kadarius Toney.
We do.
We talked about him
I was going to bring him up, by the way.
Yeah,
I was going to try and shoehorn him into
do
this
it.
Yeah.
We talked about him like way too much for the amount of time he actually played.
Yeah, I know, right? How many games did he play? Like 3? I don't know.
I mean, a couple.
Doesn't matter.
3 max.
Yeah. But when I was watching that, I was like, he's sort of a rich man's, I guess, Kadarius Toney, in the sense that he's more experienced, more polished, because Toney came in and he had barely played receiver, and so yeah. And then you got like Jameson Williams, who's a deep threat. You got a guy like Jahan Dotson, who reminds me a lot of Deontay Johnson, which is unfortunate. I came up with that comp a long time ago, and then everybody like published it before I did, so now I feel like I'm copying everyone, but I thought of it first.
Yeah, that's yours.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, this is a really good class. Plus, there's a bunch of like second-round type guys. George Pickens, David Bell, Justin Ross, Jalen Tolbert. There's a lot of really interesting players in this class. I think, it's just embarrassment of riches at the receiver position right now.
Among the receivers in this draft class, is there like an extremely volatile guy that jumps out to you, like who could be fantastic, but also has a lot of red flags?
Yeah, I think, Burks, who is my number one, I'll preface it, he's my number one guy. I think he has maybe like a lower floor just because he's not as polished as a route runner. They used him out of the slot a lot. It actually reminds me a lot of A.J. Brown. I mean, he is kind of a carbon copy of A.J. Brown because coming out, A.J. Brown was like a slot receiver. He played in the slot.
It's hard to remember that.
It's like weird to think about because that was like, there were question marks. I remember this distinctly. There's question marks whether he can play outside because he played in the slot. You're playing on a team with DK Metcalf, who just runs, the vertical route on the outside.
Remember, he had bad hips. That's why he never made it in the NFL.
Yeah, I know. What could have been.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same story. It depends on where he lands, I think, because if someone's going to try and make him into just like a West Coast offense receiver, that might not pan out. You got to get him with a guy who's willing to be creative, a little bit like Deebo Samuel, because they line him up in the backfield. They line him up at wing back, in the slot, on the outside. Get him involved in different ways and let him let his athleticism and just explosiveness go to work. But he is in that DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown mold where you might have to kind of design an offense or have an offense that fits that profile for the first few years until he kind of becomes more polished.
Danny, I wanted to ask you, is there a 2022 sophomore, we talked about Trevor Lawrence a second ago, but is there a 2022 sophomore who you expect to either break out or bounce back, after his rookie season?
We might say the line. Say the line.
Tony.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Tony, baby.
I'm all about it.
So obviously, I'm excited about Tony. I think the worry here is can he stay healthy, because we saw that was a big issue this year. The inconsistency was there, but when he's in the offense and he's playing a full load of snaps, incredible upside.
Yes.
He's getting like 12 targets, you know.
Just, that's why we literally never stop talking about him. Yeah.
And he passes the eye test. It's not just like, oh, they needed to pass to somebody in this offense. It's like he is sudden, he's explosive, he's making plays after the catch that you don't see any, like, his movement is
his
just,
feet,
like, rare.
His feet are just blindingly quick. I mean, they remind me like LaShawn McCoy's feet.
Right.
Like just so like the stop start is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's incredibly sudden. Plus now you've got an offense where there's some hope in New York.
There's at least hope.
Dayball,
we're not saying it's like totally rational, but it's at least like it's not totally like implausible. Like you can have. You can be a Giants fan, like go to sleep at night saying, "I'm not being."
It could get better.
Hope. Yeah, exactly.
We
it can't get much worse. To be honest. They don't score touchdowns.
Yeah, no. I mean, Daniel Jones has not been big for 3 years in the NFL, which is a bit of a problem.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about Kadarius Toney as a guy who commands targets. You know, and like you said, it wasn't just
100%.
It wasn't just because Sterling Shepard and Slayton and others were injured. You know, the quarterbacks for the Giants, including Daniel Jones, couldn't help but to throw it to him. You know, because he's open, he creates a lot of separation. So I do hope that he can get over those injuries and play full season.
The other guy I was going to bring up was Rhonda Moore. I'm just like really curious how this is going to happen, how this is going to go, because obviously now I'm starting to think, oh no, is he another and remind me on the slot receiver guy that the Cardinals drafted. I've already forgotten his name, and then he just like never played the second rounder.
You know the guy? Andy Isabella.
Sorry, I was like completely blanking on that name, which is
a real good
bad
sign for Andy Isabella. Yeah, you know the guy.
I just don't want him to become the next Andy Isabella. Sorry, Andy Isabella. That's rude, I know, but
well, he fit. I mean, Isabella was an impressive prospect.
Right.
You know,
he had like a ton of production, really fast, really explosive, but for whatever reason, they just couldn't incorporate him into their offense. It just didn't work. Starting to get those vibes with Rondale Moore where, you know, maybe the fact that he is 5'7" is a detriment, you know, to what he's able to do down the field. That's pretty clear at this point. However, I do think there were flashes there this year where you're like, you know, Christian Kirk is going to be a free agent, so maybe he can.
The whole team, like AJ Green's a free agent.
AJ Green's a free agent.
Zach Ertz is a free agent. So there's a lot of pass catching turnover there in Arizona, probably.
So maybe this was part of their plan all along to like kind of like ease him in year one. And the good news is, relatively, he stayed pretty healthy during the season. I know that he missed a few games to injury, but
after an injury-prone college career,
right? Yeah. So I'm still really hopeful, but I'm a little reticent to like be hyping him up, you know, because.
But do it anyway, though.
Okay. I need him for the dynasty team.
Yeah, so we'll join you.
We're all counting on you, Rondale. So, Danny, shifting to Super Bowl talk, something we've just been asking everybody this week is what they think the single most important matchup, or just the matchup you're most excited about in the Super Bowl. It could be like a one-on-one matchup, or it could be like, you know, an offensive line versus defensive line matchup. Just what do you think is the most important matchup of Super Bowl 56?
I think the matchup that we're going to see like immediately upon the game starting, like as soon as the Bengals get the ball, is like how they're going to deal with the Rams pass rush. You know, like Von Miller, Aaron Donald. How are they going to be able to stop that?
2 weeks rest, too.
I know, like,
oh man.
Well, Von Miller especially. I mean, Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. He's like the best defensive player in the NFL for like his entire career.
So Von Miller's already single-handedly won a Super Bowl before.
Yeah,
he's been here.
He could be. I don't know if this has ever happened. A defensive player to win 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I'm not sure that's happened before.
Especially with 2 different teams. I'm sure that's probably never.
Yeah.
Maybe Lawrence Taylor did.
I mean, it might have happened, but you know, it's one of those things that's rare. And so he has really turned it on in the playoffs. I mean, like I saw it from, I think, Next Gen Stats, like his pressure rate is 2 times what it was in the regular season. He's just like waiting to get to the playoffs to like actually start trying, which I respect as an old guy.
You got to conserve. You got to conserve that energy.
So I think that's going to be very difficult. I mean, we've seen the Bengals have really struggled with pressure. They struggled with the Titans like a lot.
But they won, Danny.
But they won the game, so it doesn't matter.
Here's the deal. I mean, the Bengals are 1-0 when Joe Burrow gets sacked. They've never lost when Joe Burrow gets sacked.
That's a good metric. Maybe they should, go for that every week.
No, just get them out of the way in the first quarter.
I think, and this is the reason that they ran the ball on first down.
This is what I've been saying all week. Well, everyone,
they're like, we'd rather have 0 yards than -10.
I can't get anyone to even like entertain the possibility Zach Taylor might be a good coach. I'm not even saying that he is.
No, you can't.
I'm not even saying that he is. But like everyone on the show is, he's horrible.
I just want him to not run on every first down. Is kind of the thing. Like, mix it up. I
think it was
50-50.
Keep taking this stat from someone. I think maybe Connor Allen, but they ran on 17 of 29 first downs in the AFC Championship.
They're going to lose by 30 if they do that in this game.
I mean, we've been saying this this. I will say we have been saying this every round about the
Right.
Bengals. Like,
Right.
Oh, they do that. I mean, there's no way they can keep getting away with this. I mean, they're going to easily lose.
But seriously, though,
Yeah.
they are that meme.
For real.
They run so pure.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, you're like the 14th person we've had on the stage. Yeah, this is a horrible coach. Man. No idea. I mean,
Luckiest team in history.
Have a coach. Yeah, might as well not even have a coach. Yeah. I mean, now we got to ask the real cliche question. What's the game prediction, Daniel?
So I chose this number out of thin air, and then I'm having to stick with it, even though it might not make much sense. 21-19.
Is that a scoregami? There's
Rams.
No scoregami.
I've been told the 19 is not necessarily a common one, so I don't know why I picked that. I have to stick with it now because I've said it so many times. But I do think that the Rams are a better team, and they're just. The mismatch they have on the defensive line versus the Bengals offensive line could be like really massive. So yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be more of a slog than like a shootout type game.
I've been thinking that too.
Yeah.
They both want to run so bad. I mean, the Rams.
Yes.
We've been talking about that this week too. I mean, the Rams like run so much now.
They get their heart. Both coaches are conservative, like run first, like balance, control, like don't turn it over. So that I think that might show up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we talk about the offensive line versus defense. It's this. I was saying this exact same line constantly for the AFC Championship game, but like, is there any one real area where the Bengals have like a clear advantage on the Rams? Like, is this another game where like they don't have a clear? I mean, maybe a quarterback at this point, but there's like one real area where the Bengals is clearly. You can't even say with Jamar Chase. Cooper Kupp just had the second best receiving yard in NFL history.
I'm like, my instinct was like, well, Jamar Chase, they don't have a player like him, but then Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown.
He had second most receptions and receiving yards in NFL history this year.
That'd be so ridiculous to say that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe at the running back position, but they haven't been able to run the ball very well.
No, not at all.
So I don't know if that's like even going to move the needle anyway.
Right. I don't think they'll be able to run at all.
Yeah.
Against the Rams. And unfortunately, I do think they will try like hell to do so. But that's unfortunate.
You're saying there's going to be two champions because you're saying the Rams are going to win the game, but then you're saying the Bengals are going to cover, which is obviously all that really matters.
Exactly.
We're going to have two different champions.
You're threading the needle.
Yeah. Any final questions from Mr. Daniel? Or?
No. This is good stuff. I'm going to continue to pick your brain about these two quarterbacks coming out. Because I need to know. We
need to know.
Stuff.
Yeah, just start DMing. Don't even wait till you post it. Just DM it to us.
That's right.
So
I'll just send you a link to my NFL draft guide.
Your Google Doc, or whatever. Danny, thanks so much for joining us. Awesome stuff on the pod. Awesome stuff on the site. Always love to talk to you. Always love to. You're a great tweeter too. The complete package. So no, seriously,
5-tool player.
Yeah, 5-tool player. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's been an awesome talk.
Absolutely, appreciate it, guys.
So we've had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we've had Danny Kelly, and Danny, we had the distinct pleasure of sitting down with a certain offensive weapon recently. You asked him some interesting questions about the Cowboys offense, spoiler alert, and he gave us some very, very interesting answers. So
some real answers.
It was a really great talk. Let's roll it. We are here with Cowboys star CeeDee Lamb, a 1,000-yard receiver during only his second year in the league in 2021. You're only 22 years old. CeeDee, when this Cowboys offense is clicking, it's arguably the most productive unit in the league. What do you think you guys can do to improve in 2022, though?
Honestly, I feel like we got to be more aggressive. I feel like early on we were attacking everybody the same way, just nitpicking, like running the ball, ground and pound, and then suddenly you got a shot over your head. I mean, you never know what you're going to get with us. It's just because like we can hit you from three different areas, and then the running backs that we have, it could wear you down a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it's fantasy. We're always like, we want the Cowboys to throw more.
Yeah, please.
We just want the Cowboys throwing to CeeDee Lamb 10 to 12 times a game, so we would agree with that.
Your usage this season kind of varied from week to week, from the slot to the outside. I was wondering how you felt you were best utilized, whether it's a slot receiver or on the outside.
Honestly, I didn't really have a preference, but I feel like being in the inside made me more of a gadget player, which I'm perfectly fine with. Like, you can motion me from the slot, you can run me down the middle of the field, or even give me a jet sweep. So I just feel
you need more jet sweeps.
Being in the slot was definitely more fun, than being on the outside.
Do you get more mismatches in the slot, or do you get more mismatches?
I do agree with that, but I like outside also because you get more one-on-ones. If you beat one guy, you're scoring a touchdown because the safety had to worry about the other two guys opposite of you. So it has its, like I said, the game is full of matchups. Wherever you find your matchup, you got to exploit it.
Well, as fantasy people, we would love to see you see the Cowboys offense get more aggressive, like you talked about earlier.
And wherever you have the most mismatches, because that's CeeDee Super Bowl 56 is a game of stars, but particularly at the receiver position, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Odell Beckham. Who do you think is? Maybe you don't have to say who the best is taking the field this Sunday. Who are you most looking forward to see from that group playing at Super Bowl 56?
I like Jamar Chase and those guys. I'm excited for both of them, to be honest, because as a receiver, you love to watch other receivers. You know, you love watching them do good, go for 100, 200, whatever. I'm excited for those guys. Honestly, I want Jamar Chase to go for 100. I want them all to go for 100.
We do too.
You know, that's a great game.
That'd
you know,
be cool.
and it's just the game nowadays is starting to navigate to the receivers, or the offenses are starting to now be run through receivers. Just because you get a receiver that's very dominant enough to take over a game, that could be a really long game for somebody.
Sure. Yeah. Do you think the Rams would focus at all on getting Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase in this game?
Oh yeah, that's happening, guaranteed.
Yeah. Why haven't they been doing that?
That's the only person I feel like you don't have to let alphas go against each other. You know, like one-on-one, let's work. It's gonna get chippy, and I just know that just how the competitiveness, the game, the aura, the setting. You know, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Jalen versus Jamar, that's like a matchup befitting of the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I guess we have to ask you the cliche question, going on the record, who is going to win Super Bowl 56?
I like the Rams to win by 4. But, I mean, you know, I'm not against the Bengals winning also, but like I like the Rams to win just because I want Odell to get one for sure. It's like big bro to me.
He really deserves one too.
Yeah, just out the crazy story he's had, and then the run he's had, and then now the way he's able to bounce back and put a couple touchdowns together. And he had his first 100-yard game since 2016, 2015.
Yeah,
in the NFC Championship game.
That's just crazy.
I mean, he's a Hall of Fame level talent. Yeah, I want him. He might be the single player I'm rooting for the most on Sunday. So.
Yeah, and I think and that's the thing I like about it a lot. I feel like he has a lot of people rooting for him now. Like everyone is, you know, wants to be a part of his journey.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely do, because like it's so silly, but in fantasy, you know, we like feel really connected to you guys. And like Odell Beckham was like such an important fantasy player for all of us. So yeah, we're it's not quite the same. I would say we're in the same boat as you. It's not the same thing since you are literally an NFL receiver and we are not.
It's been cool to see him, you know, become a household name once again. Like everybody talking about him again, like they used to with the Giants.
He never went away. He's not back. He never really went away.
Right.
CeeDee, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and we know you're gonna be in a Super Bowl soon. Yeah, you're gonna be in a Super Bowl soon.
I need one for sure.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore, if you're listening, get CeeDee Lamb the ball more, please.
Yes. I think that's kind of the subtext.
He was very polite about it. But
yeah.
I mean, he was, you know, would give me the ball a few more times. That's fine.
He mentioned the word aggressive.
He did.
And they weren't always aggressive with a great cast of pass catchers, including himself.
You know who was aggressive this week, Denny? It was us on those obstacle courses on the field goals.
You were.
I mean,
you were.
Letting out some late. I was just trying to warm up. You know, very cold.
Right.
I thought, you know, if I just wreck this tackling dummy, I'll be.
The tackling dummies never recovered.
No, they didn't.
They had to get new ones.
And the NFL would build me for that. They cost several $1,000. No, several $1,000. They look cheap.
Well, per tackling dummy. I saw the bill.
They look cheap. Yeah, it's $900. I wrecked 4 of them. So my wife she stopped texting me actually.
Yeah.
So,
you had a good run.
It's been an amazing week down here at Radio Row. We had have so much fun. Check out our videos. Yeah, I mean, we did an athletic competition. We kicked field goals.
Yeah.
Had so many great guests. You know, great guests from inside the NBC umbrella. Drew Dinsick, Sarah Perlman, Jay Croucher. We're going to forget people. We had so many cool people stop by. Thank you so much to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Thank you so much to CeeDee Lamb.
Noah Fant.
Thank you so much to Noah Fant. Thank you so much to our writer friends. Danny Kelly was just amazing today. We had
Robert Mays.
Yeah, Robert Mays was amazing. Just thank you so much all week. Thank you so much to the amazing production staff.
Yes.
Stephen D'Agostino, he just told me how to say it. Stephen D'Agostino, he's a good man. Brian Rubin's a very good man.
Yes.
Adam Wise is a very good man. They're all very good people. Lots of other people.
You are the real MVPs.
You are.
Some would say.
No, Denny, and the real MVP is you, Denny.
I don't think it is.
You were here. I will admit it now, finally. You were here in Los Angeles. I tried to pretend that you weren't. I went along with the conspiracy.
You're feeding the conspiracy, actually.
I peddled misinformation. It was fake news.
I'm here.
You've been here. Yeah, we've had a really good time.
Yes.
And,
yeah. It's been fantastic. It's a great atmosphere. I've really enjoyed every minute of it. It's going to be hard to go back to regular podcasting.
Well, I thought you were going to say regular life.
And that, but also regular podcasting.
Yeah, it is. It's been just awesome. NBC, if you're listening, I mean, you can send us again next year. Yeah. So, yeah, we've had the time of our lives. It's just been awesome stuff. And thank you so much for listening, though. And hopefully you've enjoyed our shows. We have enjoyed our time here so much. So for Denny Carter, I am Patrick Daugherty. Thank you for listening. Enjoy Super Bowl 56, and we'll be back with more podcasts next week.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for all the latest fantasy and sports betting advice from NBC Sports Edge. And don't forget to sign up for NBC Sports Edge Plus to get the best-in-class draft guides, as well as season-long fantasy, DFS, and sports betting tools that will give you the edge.